No physical touch, ape. Don't stain me with your color.
Ava Sterling moved through the glittering gala unnoticed, a quiet presence in a sea of power. She was no ordinary waitress. She was an ebony black girl from old money, Marcus Vince's daughter, a titan of finance, here undercover to witness the true nature of corporate America. At 7, she had been adopted by Marcus, yet she had chosen to keep her birth name, a badge of pride and resilience. Marcus watched from across the room, his gaze calculating. Every smile Ava gave, every careful step she took was part of a greater plan, to see how the people at the top behaved when they believed no one significant was watching. And tonight, Julian Thorne, CEO of Apex Dynamics, would provide the perfect test. The room shimmered with crystal, polished wood, and soft candlelight, but beneath the elegance, tension coiled like a snake. Julian sat at the head of the table, exuding power, charm, and a dangerous arrogance. Marcus knew that wealth could hide a lack of character, but tonight, masks would fall. Ava approached the table with quiet precision, refilling water glasses, serving plates, and moving with the grace of someone who had mastered both observation and control. Julian made his first jab, loud enough for a few nearby guests to catch, a comment meant to belittle her, to remind her of her place. Her reaction was near imperceptible, a micropause, a subtle tightening of her shoulders, but Marcus saw it all. She chose dignity over anger, composure over retaliation. Every motion, every gesture was deliberate. She smiled warmly at an elderly guest, bent to return a crayon to a child, performing small acts of humanity while Julian ranted about numbers, profits, and domination. The executives around Julian nodded frantically, sensing the growing tension. Yet Marcus and Ava were orchestrating something far bigger than a dinner conversation, a masterclass in observing character under pressure. Julian, frustrated by Ava's quiet defiance, reached out and gripped her wrist. It was controlling, demeaning, but Ava did not flinch. She met his eyes, unwavering. "Yes, sir, I understand completely," she said, calm yet resolute. Slowly, she freed her wrist and stepped back, her dignity intact. Marcus gave a nearly imperceptible nod to his assistant, Klaus. The plan moved forward. Julian continued his pitch, oblivious, but the seed of exposure had already been planted. Every word, every gesture, every insult had been recorded, not by Marcus alone, but by the attention of the room and the unseen cameras capturing the event. The atmosphere thickened. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. Marcus stood. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Conversations halted. Even the harpist's fingers froze over the strings. Marcus looked at Ava and silently acknowledged her, signaling the culmination of months of planning. Then he addressed Julian. "Mr. Thorne, there is someone here you have not met." Ava stepped forward. No uniform, no tray, only poise and quiet confidence. Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is Ava Sterling, my daughter." The room gasped. Julian's expression morphed from confusion to disbelief to horror. Marcus continued, outlining Ava's undercover role and the lessons she had learned. How leaders treat those they believe have no power. Phones rose, whispers spread. 10 minutes later, the first alerts detonated across phones in the room and beyond. Vance Capital withdraws. Sources cite incident at private gala. That was the tremor. Then came the earthquake. A video clear as crystal and twice as sharp hit the feed on X. The hashtags exploded globally. Ghetto charity case, Thorne meltdown, undercover waitress. By midnight, Apex Dynamics was down 27% in after-hours trading. By sunrise, Julian wasn't a titan. He was a meme. Julian Thorne's arrogance and abusive behavior were now a public spectacle. Apex Dynamics stock began to tremble. By the next morning, Ava walked into Vance Capital as chief conscience officer. The title wasn't a PR stunt. It was a mission. She addressed the company. "A man in power tried to make me feel small, but I didn't need to respond in kind. Today, we redefine what leadership looks like. Power is taken, leadership is earned through respect, empathy, and valuing every person. Our new ROI will be measured in integrity, not just profit." Applause swelled, employees inspired by the lesson in dignity and courage. Meanwhile, Julian Thorne's empire crumbled. Emergency meetings, stock collapse, suspension pending investigation. He wasn't a failure in business, he was bankrupt in character. Ava's story became a global symbol of quiet strength and moral leadership. The moral was clear. True power lies in dignity, empathy, and character, not in titles, money, or fear. And it starts with how we treat every person, every day. What would you do if the person you were about to dismiss held the keys to your entire future? If your answer changes based on their identity, then you've missed the lesson. Because the truth Ava proved to the world is simple: dignity isn't earned, it's honored. And the strongest leaders are sometimes the ones who've been invisible until the moment they choose to stand. From the other side of silence, toss stories. Drop a comment and share where you're watching from. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story. Let it be a reminder that decency isn't a strategy, it's the one investment that never collapses.